So for my disability simulation, I had a total knee replacement and a straight cane. So I kind of looked out and had only the one piece of durable medical equipment or adaptive equipment, whatever you call it. So the straight cane. So yes, it was easy in the sense that I didn't have much to have to finagle around, but also I found very quickly that it wasn't as easy as it seemed, having to walk around with it all the time, and even just remembering that I had to use it. A lot of times I'd get up and walk a couple feet away and be like, oh crap, I left it, because it's just so simple you forget to do it, which if somebody who actually has a total knee replacement does that, it could pose a safety risk or issues with balance, or could cause somebody to fall, or it could be a much worse situation for somebody who actually has a knee replacement. Overall, it went good though. I think it kind of gave me a good sense of kind of how somebody with this disability would function in their daily life, and as well as kind of get around and do the things that they usually do. So some of the positive things were that I was able to kind of go up and down stairs too, which a lot of other people weren't able to do. But then again, I had to do it at a decreased speed and take my time to focus on what pattern I had to do, like cane, good leg, bad leg, like up with the good, down with the bad kind of stuff, which was time consuming. And kind of when I was in more public places, I felt like I was being rushed and couldn't really do that well, which you're not going to be able to if you have an actual knee replacement. You're going to be doing it at a slower pace. So having to kind of think about that was interesting. So for part one, what did you learn from this experience? How it helped you be a better clinician? I kind of talked about what I learned about, but this definitely gives you a sense of what somebody with this recent operation is going to be going through. If they're a pretty active, independent individual before it, they're going to maybe just have a cane, or maybe have a walker, something simple for a little while, just to have them keep their balance. But to really get in the mindset of thinking how to be able to actually experience it puts you that's much more ahead of other people when you're actually treating people with it. Because if you're treating someone with a knee replacement and they're expressing to you how they forget to use their cane all the time, and they don't know how to use it, and it's annoying to have to use it, and if you haven't had that experience, you really don't know what they're talking about. Yes, you can say, yeah, I see how that would be annoying, but you don't actually know. And going through this experience, yes, I haven't had a knee replacement, but I've forgot my cane when I'm supposed to have my cane. I've had to walk through public places with the cane and have people look at me and stuff like that. So that kind of puts you a step ahead of people that haven't been through that. Number two, what did you learn about the ADL, IADL process throughout your 48-hour disability simulation, and how does it differ from your baseline? So the main thing that I kind of found was just time, and having to, again, I didn't have a lot of the other adaptive equipment that made it difficult to have to go through my ADL procedure. I felt pretty independent throughout it all, but it took me twice as much time to have to do everything, because every time you had to get up, you had to walk with a cane. If I had to go somewhere, it took me a little bit more time to have to think about how am I using my cane, where am I going to put my cane, where am I going to put it so I can kind of get it after I do whatever I do. So it was time consuming to have to do some of my getting dressed, and to being able to think about bending my knee. It's painful, and a lot of the things we do with our ADL task in the morning, especially getting dressed and stuff, you got to bend your knee pretty substantially. So somebody who just had a knee replacement, that might be pretty painful on having to complete those things. Other things like community mobility, walking about, again, took time. It took me a lot longer to walk to and from classes. And also, and I touched upon this in the group reflection, but having my walk to and from campus is a 10-minute walk. So for someone for a knee replacement, that's going to get tiring on their knee, and they're going to be painful, and it's going to hurt. So having to think about that when I was doing this was interesting. Someone with a knee replacement probably going to have to take a break, or stop halfway and take a break, because their knee's going to be in some pretty substantial pain, especially if they're right after post-op. For part two, was the most challenging part. during the 48-hour simulation, and how will that help you empathize with your future clients? The most challenging part, I would say, is I don't know how I want to say it, like having to just accept that you have to do it. A lot of, like, I'm thinking more of the independent patients that we see, some of the younger people, they're not going to really want to walk with a cane or with any kind of assistive device, because they don't want to, especially if they were as independent as like a young person would be before. If they only need a cane, they want to be active again. They want to be independent, and being able to assure them, like, if you have to tell them to slow down, or you can't do that yet, being able to empathize with them, to say, I know what you feel like. It takes a lot longer to have to use this. It's annoying to have to use it. It doesn't feel right when you use it, but you need it. It's imperative to your safety, and this is going to help you get better in the long run. Whereas if you just push through the pain, it might do more harm than good. So I think that was important to figure out. Do you feel this assignment is controversial? Yes, I do. I think it's an amazing experience and an awesome learning opportunity, as I just said, but I think it doesn't demoralize people that actually have disabilities, but I don't like to seem like I'm faking a disability. I work a lot, as you know. I work with a kid in a wheelchair, and one thing that sticks out that kind of related to is people with the handicap stickers. We've gone to a lot of different places that we show up and somebody takes a handicap spot right in front of us, and a perfectly normal looking person gets out, and we have a ramp van. He's got a wheelchair that a ramp needs to go down. We need that spot. It's just it makes you question. And I don't like to, because I am all for like invisible disabilities. I understand that that's a thing, but it just makes me wonder how people with actual disabilities view this project, because they are going through something that we have no clue about. And having us kind of simulate that, yes, is an amazing learning experience, but it makes me think kind of how they think about it, because they have feelings too, and they have to live this day in and day out. What specific items do you make for your meal? Please. I'm kind of running out of time, but I made chicken and broccoli. So the purchasing was kind of the hardest part, going to the store, having to think about the endurance of going in and out the aisles. It was pretty tough, and then having people like look at you, psychosocial issues like that. But the cooking was okay. The hardest part with the cooking was putting down the cane and forgetting where I put the cane. You got to make sure that it's with you, or you're holding onto something at all times. And I sometimes put it somewhere, shuffle over to a different place, and then couldn't get back to it if I had to go somewhere. So just making sure I did that, and thinking about that. And I wouldn't have used any other adaptive. I didn't really use any adaptive equipment. I might have maybe just prepped a little bit better and put everything that I needed, get everything I needed and put it in one space, so I'm not constantly moving around. But other than that, it was okay. My theory was motor learning. So motor learning, it kind of fit perfectly, kind of having to relearn these motor activities that you may have lost or decreased in function, and using activities to increase those. Much more different than ecology of human performance that we talked about in the group, whereas that's setting up the environment to be successful. Whereas motor learning is, you got to do it to be successful. So a little bit different. It was interesting to think about the differences there, because in the group video we talked about how I could have put different places to take breaks, plan out where I'm going to do, plan out when I'm going to break. Whereas with motor learning, it's to be able to learn these, build up what you need back, you got to go do grocery shopping. It's just a kind of a different mindset, thinking of how you're going to be better and how you're going to benefit from therapy, depending on which lens you use. I think it went really well. I was happy with the thoughts that I got, and especially listening to the rest of my group members and other people that are going through it, kind of seeing what they learned too was really, really cool thing. I liked how we did the group reflection. I think that really got me to see how everybody else kind of viewed it too, compared to my own. So thank you.